Right. Good morning, everybody. To deal quickly with a technical issue before the business for the meeting is started, you will be aware that under the terms of the Constitution, there is a normal requirement for members to stand when speaking and that voting is usually by way of show of hands. Obviously, these rules are impractical in a remote meeting, so can I propose that Council Procedures Rules 21.1 and 17.3 are disapplied for this meeting, so that standing is not required and voting will take place by way of a roll call if necessary. For that proposal, please.
I'll second it, Billy.
Go. Right. All agreed?
Agreed.
Go. Right, we go to item 1, apologies for absence. I have apologies for Councillor Craig Holmes and Councillor Jackson. Any more apologies? Thank you. Item 2, election of mayor. To elect the mayor of the Borough of Redcar Cleveland, could I have a nominations for mayor, please?
Could I speak, Mr. Mayor?
Yep, go ahead.
I'd be delighted to propose Councillor Carol Morgan as mayor. She has all the right attributes and abilities and commitments to fulfil the role brilliantly. She's local, she's a borough fanatic, she's a gardener, makes wonderful and produces wonderful raspberries and tomatoes. She's a knitter involved in major community projects involving the Martin and Nunthorpe knitters. She's even been a marathon runner and is still a cyclist, and in fact she's a brilliant litter picker. She's a former teacher and multilinguist. She even understands my jokes, such as they are. She's a childminder for her grandchildren when required, and is also involved in minding pets, mainly dogs. She is committed to the local community and our open society. She helps in local charities, even the local railway activities. She will be capable of keeping the council in order, I'm sure, and as the deputy mayor, she's performed that role with considerable distinction. I strongly commend Carol Morgan as our next mayor, and I would urge people to give her their unanimous support. Mr. Mayor, I propose Carol Morgan as our mayor for the coming term of office.
Thank you. Could I have a seconder, please?
I second that, Mr. Mayor, and reiterate everything that Councillor Nightingale said. I think she's going to be exceptional for the year coming, and she's performed her duties over the last 12 months exceptionally. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Quartermain.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'd like to propose Councillor Sheila Hollyoak. She's a fantastic councillor. She's a friend of the borough, a community activist, and we wholeheartedly recommend her. Thank you.
Can I second that, please, Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. Any more nominations? Any? Any more nominations? Well, I'll pass over to the managing director to do the vote. John.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In terms of the voting, I'm going to go through the full list of councillors. I will call your name out. There's 3 options. There's a vote for Councillor Morgan, a vote for Councillor Holyoake and also an abstention if you wish to abstain. I will give people the opportunity, because we're dealing with this virtually, to respond, to unmute themselves and to respond. If after a period of time I've heard nothing from that particular councillor, I will pass on to the next, but I will revisit people with the option that I have passed over later on at the end of the list. I would ask as I go through that, if you've missed your opportunity to vote, I will return to you, but don't interrupt whilst I'm going through the rest of the list. So first of all, Councillor A.
Sheila Hollyhock.
Councillor Baldwin.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Barnes.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Berry.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Brady.
Councillor Holyoake.
Councillor Brooke.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Brown.
Councillor Holyoake.
Councillor Corley. Councillor Corley.
Turning your mic on, Kerry.
Councillor Holyoake.
Councillor Clark. Councillor Clark.
It is on.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Clark B.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Cook.
Councillor Holyoake.
Councillor Craig.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Cutler.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Davies.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Dowson.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Fisher. Councillor Fletcher.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Foggo.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Foley McCormick.
Councillor Holyoake.
Councillor Gallagher.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Gray.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Griffiths. Councillor Griffiths. I will move on. Councillor Hannaway.
Councillor Holyoake.
Councillor Head. Councillor Head.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Holmes L. Councillor Holyoake. Councillor Holyoake.
Councillor Holyoake.
Councillor Hunt. Councillor Hunt.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Jeffrey G.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Jeffrey S.
Councillor Holyoake.
Councillor Jones.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Kay.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor King.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Lanigan.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Lax-Keeler.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Lockwood.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Massey.
Councillor Holyoake.
Councillor Moody.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Nightingale G.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Nightingale, aye.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Ovens.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Pallister.
Councillor Holyoke.
Councillor Quatermain C.
Councillor Holyoke.
Councillor Quatermain L.
Councillor Holyoke.
Councillor Rees.
Councillor Holyoke.
Councillor Ryder.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Smith Sandra.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Smith Stuart.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Smith V.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Thompson.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Watts.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Wells.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Westbury.
Councillor Morgan.
Councillor Williams.
Councillor Holyoke.
Councillor Wilson.
Excuse me, Councillor Morgan.
I believe that passed on one, which was Councillor Griffiths. Councillor Griffiths. Councillor Griffiths.
Chair, might it be that we could unmute the councillor in case he's having difficulties in doing that?
I believe we cannot unmute an individual. They can only unmute themselves. We are able to mute, but not unmute. I'll give Councillor Griffiths one more opportunity. Councillor Griffiths.
Yes.
I will take that as no vote from Councillor Griffiths. Thank you, councillors. I'll pass you back to the Mayor whilst we reconcile the votes. Please bear with us.
I'm reading the figures out. Read the actual figures out. What about the odd one? The result of the ballot is for 37, Councillor Morgan, 15 for Councillor Holyoke, 1 no vote. I hereby declare that Councillor Morgan is the new Mayor. Thank you very much. I will now hand over to Mayor Morgan.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wells. Just a couple of words, maybe first. I'd just like to say how privileged and honoured I feel to have been elected as Mayor of Redcar and Cleveland, and would like to thank members for all their votes. I will do my best to follow in the footsteps of all my brilliant predecessors to promote the borough in every way possible in these current circumstances. And I'd especially like to thank Councillor Wells for all his hard work over the 18 months in very difficult times. So moving on with the agenda, we come to item 3, which is the election of the Deputy Mayor. Could I have nominations for the election of Deputy Mayor, please?
Madam Mayor, Councillor Lanigan here. I'd like to propose Councillor Stuart Smith. I'm sure that we all are well aware of Councillor Smith's attributes. Marvellous councillor for community, parish, everything that he does within that. He's been chair of our planning for as long as I can remember, a marvellous councillor, who I think, Madam Mayor, will actually be an asset to you in the year coming forward. So I would like to nominate Councillor Stuart Smith as Deputy Mayor for Redcar and Cleveland Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lanigan. Do we have that seconder, please?
Can I second that, Madam Mayor?
Other people can use you.
Thank you, Councillor Nightingale.
Can I second that and wholeheartedly support the nomination from Councillor Lanigan? He may not have your skills in knitting, but certainly he will have the other requirements that are attributed to the office, and I look forward to seeing Councillor Smith as the Deputy Mayor for the coming period of office. And I second that proposal.
Thank you, Councillor Nightingale. Do we have any more proposals, please, for Deputy Mayor?
Can I speak, Madam Mayor?
Yes, please do, Councillor Quatermain.
Thank you, and congratulations on your position.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're going to make a great job of it. Thank you very much. Yeah, at this time we would like to withdraw our nomination, given the result of the mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Quatermain. Thank you. Are there any more proposals for Deputy Mayor? I take that as a no. So we just have the one nomination. And therefore I can announce that Councillor Stuart Smith has been elected as Deputy Mayor for this term. Congratulations, Councillor Smith. Moving on to item 4 of the agenda, to approve the minutes of the annual general meeting held on the 23rd of May 2019.
I'll move those, Councillor Morgan, Mrs. Mayor, Madam Mayor.
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Mr. Davies. So we have a proposer and a seconder. That's it then, isn't it? All right. Does everybody agree? Anybody disagree? We all have some nods and we have silence. Okay. Thank you very much. So the minutes of the AGM have been accepted. Moving on to item number 5, to receive announcements from the Mayor. First of all, my only announcement this morning is regarding charities. I have chosen to continue supporting Mayor Wells charities of Zoe's Place and Eva Women's Aid. Fundraising for these fantastic causes has been severely limited, and so it just seems right to me to continue supporting them for the remainder of this term until May 2021. Thank you. Does the Managing Director have any announcements?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On this occasion, no announcements.
Thank you. Item 6. Do we have any announcements from the Leader of the Council?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No, not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 7 is the report of the Monitoring Officer to agree the distribution of seats to committees following a review of political proportionality. Do we have a proposer to accept this report, please? Councillor Quatermain, do you wish to propose or just speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I would like just to briefly speak on this one. Just to say that, you know, in terms of proportionality, largely it's fine. We still contest the issue regarding the police and crime panel where we have no Labour representation on there. We fully accept and recognise that this isn't a Redcar and Cleveland Borough Council decision. It's with the Stockton Council, and you know, it affects all the unitary boroughs, and there's proportionality in that regard. But we do feel that Redcar and Cleveland are missing out on our representation, and we will continue to contest that and take that up with the monitoring officer. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Quartermain. Can we have a proposer for this report, please?
I'll move it, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Davies, and seconded by Councillor Lanigan. Are we all in agreement? We have nobody wanting to speak against it. Thank you. Okay, that report has been moved. Item 8 on today's agenda, to approve scrutiny committees and other such committees and working parties, chairs and vice chairs. Beginning with committees, as far as the committees are concerned, where positions are uncontested, we're asking to move them en bloc. As the list stands, there's only one contested committee place, and that is on the Growth, Environment and Enterprise Scrutiny and Improvement Committee. So we will need to have a vote to resolve that appointment. But first of all, if we can move the remaining uncontested committees en bloc, could we have a proposer to move the uncontested committees en bloc, please?
Yes, Madam
Propose that,
Mayor,
Madam.
I propose that we move on.
Propose that, seconded, thirded.
Okay, all right. We have Councillor Lanigan proposed, and I think that was Councillor Nightingale seconded. Is everybody in agreement?
Agreed, Madam Mayor.
Okay,
Agreed.
so yes, that looks, yes, everybody seems to be happy with that. Okay, so we need to now come on to the Growth, Environment and Enterprise Scrutiny and Improvement Committee. Do we have any nominations for that? Right, I understand it's between Councillor Gallagher and Councillor Vince Smith. Thank you. Do we go straight to the vote? Right, okay. First of all, do we have a proposer and seconder for Councillor Gallagher? Do we have a proposer for Councillor Gallagher?
I'll propose Councillor Gallagher. This is Councillor Lockwood.
Councillor Lockwood, thank you. Do we have a seconder for Councillor Gallagher?
I'll second that, Councillor Smith.
It's Councillor Sandra Smith, thank you. And then for Councillor Vince Smith, do we have a proposer for Councillor Vince Smith?
I'll propose Vince Smith. It's Councillor Robert Clark.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. Councillor Robert Clark. And do we have a seconder?
I'll second Councillor Brooke.
Councillor Brooke seconds. Okay. Okay. So I will now pass over to the Managing Director for the roll call of votes. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Same process as previous in terms of the vote. So when I go down the list, I'm looking for Councillor Gallagher or Councillor Vince Smith or an abstain in terms of your responses. I'll run through the list now in terms of people not having connection and not responding. I will come back to those individuals as we go through. So Councillor A.
Abstain.
Councillor Baldwin.
Councillor Vince Smith.
Councillor Barnes.
Councillor Vince Smith.
Councillor Berry.
Councillor Smith.
Councillor Brady.
Abstain.
Councillor Brooke.
Councillor Vince Smith.
Councillor Brown.
Abstain.
Councillor Corley.
Abstain.
Councillor Clark R.
Councillor Vince Smith.
Councillor Clark B.
Councillor Vince Smith.
Councillor Cook.
Abstain.
Councillor Craig,
Councillor Gallagher.
Councillor Cutler,
Councillor Gallagher.
Councillor Davies,
Abstain.
Councillor Dowson, Councillor Dowson,
Councillor Smith.
Councillor Fletcher,
Hope he's got that.
Councillor Smith.
Councillor Foggo,
Councillor Gallagher.
Councillor Foley McCormick,
Off that.
Abstain.
Councillor Gallacher,
Councillor Gallagher.
Councillor Gray,
Councillor Gallagher.
Councillor Griffiths, Councillor Griffiths. I will come back to Councillor Griffiths. Councillor Hannaway,
Abstain.
Councillor Head,
Councillor Vince Smith.
Councillor Holyoke,
Abstain.
Councillor Hunt,
Councillor Gallagher.
Councillor Jeffrey G,
Abstain.
Councillor Jeffrey S,
Abstain.
Councillor Jones,
Councillor Vince Smith.
Councillor Kay,
Abstain.
Councillor King,
Councillor Vince Smith.
Councillor Lanigan,
Councillor Vince Smith.
Councillor Lax Keeler,
Councillor Smith.
could you repeat please, Councillor Lax Keeler?
Sorry, Councillor Vince Smith.
Thank you. Councillor Lockwood,
Councillor Gallagher.
Councillor Massey,
Abstain.
Councillor Moody,
Councillor Smith.
Councillor Morgan,
Councillor Smith.
Councillor Nightingale G,
Councillor Smith.
Councillor Nightingale I,
Abstain.
Councillor Ovens, Councillor Ovens, I will come back. Councillor Pallister,
Abstain.
Councillor Quatermain C,
Abstain.
Councillor Quatermain L,
Abstain.
Councillor Rees,
Abstain.
Councillor Ryder,
Councillor Gallagher.
Councillor Smith Sandra,
Councillor Gallagher.
Councillor Smith Stuart,
Councillor Vince Smith.
Councillor Smith V,
Councillor Vince Smith.
Councillor Thompson,
Councillor Gallagher.
Councillor Watts,
Councillor Smith.
Councillor Wells, Councillor Westbury,
Councillor Smith.
Councillor Williams,
Abstain.
Councillor Wilson.
Councillor Smith.
Thank you. There was two I passed over, which I'll go back to. So Councillor Griffiths, Councillor Griffiths, last opportunity. No. Councillor Ovens, Councillor Ovens.
Councillor Smith.
Thank you. So apart from the absentees and Councillor, sorry, I've just been informed Councillor Fisher is now in the meeting, so I'll go to Councillor Fisher.
Vince Smith.
Thank you, Councillor Fisher. So
Smith. Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Councillor Ovens. So that concludes the vote. I'll ask the team to correlate the votes and pass to Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Who's won it?
Thank you, John. Welcome, Mary. Nice to see you.
Hi.
Can't hear you. You're on mute. Right. Okay, just checking the votes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Councillor Ovens, we can hear you.
I am hearing two conversations, two streams with a time lag. So it's incredibly difficult. I've been in touch with IT and they can't do anything about it. So I'm just living with it as best I can.
Right. Okay, thanks, Mary. Thank you. So we have the results of the vote. In favour of Councillor Gallagher, 10 votes. For Councillor Vince Smith, 24 votes, and there were 19 abstentions. So therefore, Councillor Vince Smith is elected to the said committee. Thank you. Right. Okay, where are we up to? Chairs and vice chairs, right. I'm getting slightly ahead of myself there. Right, okay, back to the agenda. So vice chairs and chairs now. As it stands, the agreement appears to have been reached between the groups in relation to the allocation of chair and vice chair positions. So if this is confirmed now, then we can ask for the nominations to be taken en bloc.
Madam Mayor, can we move on block, please?
Thank you, Councillor Lanigan. Could we have somebody to second that, please?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor.
Right. Okay. Again, I heard Councillor Nightingale second that. Thank you. Okay. So is everybody in agreement that we move the chairs and vice chairs en bloc?
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
Everybody, thank you very much. Everybody appears to be happy. Thank you. We will move on then. So, outside bodies. All right. So this is 9. Yeah, right. Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 9 in the agenda, which is to appoint members to represent Redcar and Cleveland in various positions and roles on outside bodies. I believe that as things now stand, there are no contested places on the outside bodies list. So that means hopefully again we can move them en bloc. Do we have somebody to propose that, please?
Madam Mayor, can we move on block, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lanigan. Councillor Davies, do you wish to speak?
Yeah, thanks. It's just to clarify on the Tees Valley Combined Authority Transport Committee, it's down as Councillor Hunt and myself as a substitute. I believe that's supposed to be the other way around, but can we just get confirmation from the leader, please?
Okay, Councillor Lanigan.
Yeah, Councillor Wayne Davis, why we put it like that, because Councillor Hunt was actually going to take transport, but it's not that transport. So, Madam Mayor, can we reverse that, please? Because Councillor Davis is leading on transport for the Tees Valley, and that needs to be reversed over, with Councillor Davis being the lead on that and Councillor Hunt being the substitute. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Davis, for that. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Lanigan. Has everybody agreed with that? Okay, Councillor
Madam Mayor, can I just intervene?
Quartermain. Oh, right.
Sorry.
Can I take Councillor Quartermain next, please?
Okay.
Thank you. Councillor
Thank you,
Quartermain.
Madam Mayor. It's in relation to the TVCA board as well. We currently don't have a named substitute, and I've put my name forward as a named substitute for that board.
Thank you, Councillor Quartermain.
Madam Mayor, can I just come in there at the moment? It is critically important, and I'm sure that you will reiterate that the Tees Valley, that anyone sat on those scrutiny boards there must attend. Otherwise, we are not quorate and business can't go forward. Redcar and Cleveland in the past have been a little bit patchy, and that's why we asked for a substitute coming on there, because business will be moving quite swiftly, and we may have to make sure that everyone who is on there and has put the names forward must attend the meetings. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Lanigan. Quite agree. Councillor Glyn Nightingale, did you want to come in?
Just a moment.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't realise I was on speak. Yes, can I second that? I don't think we've had a seconder so far.
Right, yes, we didn't. Okay.
It was drawn to our attention that the Low Cross Foundation no longer exists, and I don't know whether it still appears in the latest results. So I think the fact that there's a vacancy doesn't really come into play, does it?
Yeah. No, that's correct. It has been taken out.
Right. I wasn't quite sure whether I'd got the latest on the screen. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, can we have Councillor Sue Jeffrey, please?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you.
I just wanted to clarify on the Tees Valley Combined Authority Scrutiny Committee substitutes. We've put our nomination forward, but we've got 3 representatives on the Tees Valley Combined Authority Scrutiny Committee. So the other 2 need to be agreed as well. And I don't know if the other groups have done that, because as has been said by the leader, it is really important that we cover all those places at every meeting. So if they haven't put forward their representatives, I don't know whether they have or not. We just need to make sure that that's done, because we don't want to be stuck in a situation where we don't have subs.
Absolutely, thank you. Well, I'll come on to Councillor King. She may be able to answer that for us. Thank you. Councillor King?
I was just going to submit Louise Westbury as our substitute. I've informed Democratic Services, but it wasn't on the papers before we went. That's with regard to the others. I wasn't sure if there were named substitutes, so something we need to look into to make sure we've got relevant people there.
Right, thank you. And I understand that Councillor Wells is the substitute for the Independents. So I think I think that covers everything now. Okay, Councillor Holyoke.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you.
What I'd like to do is just to raise the issue that Councillor Glyn Nightingale brought up with regard to the Hutton Low Cross Foundation, which has been disbanded. Now, there's funding in there, and at a future date, I would like to find out what's happened to that funding, because I am aware that it is supposed to be spent on the children in Gisborough, but that is something I will raise for a future date. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Holyoke. Right, Councillor Quartermain, do you wish to speak again?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to say that, yeah, a little while ago when we were talking about outside bodies, we had agreed that anybody that was attending the outside bodies would flourish with a report or an update on those bodies, just to make it themselves a bit more accountable, and also those bodies accountable, because quite often, we find these bodies end up becoming defunct, or the members haven't been able to attend any meeting at all. So I think it's important that we have an account from these outside bodies. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I think we have had in normal circumstances, but I think this year's gone by the board because of what we've had. Okay, thank you, Councillor Quartermain. Yes, okay. So subject to all that clarification, can we agree on the elected members to the outside bodies. Thank you very
Agreed,
much.
Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on. Item 10. Okay, next item of agenda is item 10, to agree the scheme of delegation as set out in part 3 of the Constitution, subject to the power of the leader to approve a scheme for the delegation of executive powers. Would the leader like to move the scheme of delegation?
Yes, can I move that, Madam Mayor, please? Thank you.
Thank you. And is that seconded? Could we have a seconder for that, please?
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Who's speaking? Can't see you. Sorry.
Councillor Davies.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. Seconded. Okay. Just agree. Are we all agreed with that?
Agreed, Madam Mayor.
No, nobody wishing to disagree. Right, that's great. Thank you very much. Okay. And item 11 is to approve the programme of ordinary meetings of the council for the year following. I think you've got a list in front of you. Could I ask again the leader to move approval of the programme of ordinary council meetings for the coming year?
Can we move that, Madam Mayor? Thank you.
Thank you. Have we got somebody to second that, please?
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Quatermain. Okay, are we all in agreement? Thank you very much. With the AGM on the 27th of May. Great, thank you. That is moved then. And that concludes the AGM for this year. Thank you all. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.